In the second example, it says a company claims that the average cost of a hotel room in Toronto is $150.21. In order to test the claim, a researcher selected 60 hotel rooms across the city and found that the average price is $155.34, with a standard deviation of $15.45. At alpha equal to 0.05, is there enough evidence to support the claim? Now, first of all, once again, this is telling us the area of the critical region, the error or the probability of making a type 1 error, that is rejecting our null hypothesis when it's true. Now, before we start, it's saying here that the average cost of a hotel in Toronto is $150.21. So in terms of our hypotheses, once again, that's first is the state hypotheses. We're going to write the following. Our H0 and H1. Now, based on this information here, it's telling us that the mean is, so the mean is equal to $150.21, which means the mean is not $150.21. Once again, remember that the equality always goes with the null hypothesis. So that's the first step. Second step is to determine the critical values. Now, in order to do this, we have to draw our picture, but this is telling us that this is a two-tail scenario, right? If it has the mean is equal to and a mean not equal to, that's a two-tail scenario. So what does that look like in terms of our scenario? Okay, so let's draw our normal distribution. And this time we're going to put two tails together. Now, what's important here is that alpha is 0.05. In other words, 5%. And the thing is that is the sum of both of these tails. That means if I want the area inside each of the tails, that's actually going to be alpha divided by 2. And alpha divided by 2 is 0.025 or 2.5%. Okay, 0.025. So keeping that in mind, what we're going to do is we're going to go find the values for Z when our area in the tail is 0.025. Well, if the area in the tail is 0.25, that would mean the area from here to here is 0.475. And I'll put a 0 there as well. And likewise here as well. So when we look at our Z table, and we want 0.475, that would get us, well, it's actually right there. Now 0.475 brings us to this value right here. And what does that work out to be? It's 1.9 and of course 1.96. All right, so our critical value this time is 1.96. So that means Z is going to equal 1.96 on this side, and on this side here, since it's below the mean, it's negative 1.96. So once again, here's our fence. Here's our fence. You're either on this side of the fence, which means you're going to reject. This side of the fence you do not reject. Or this side of the fence you do reject. So next we are going to put the Z test together. And once again, the test is Z is equal to the sample mean minus the population mean, what we expected, what's used in the hypotheses, divided by the standard deviation all over the square root of sample size. And based on our question, we have the following. Our sample of the 60 hotels gave us a value, or sample mean was $155.34. And the claim was that the average was $150.21. The standard deviation from our sample was $15.45. And the size of the sample was 60, so we're going to take that and divide by 60. Now I do suggest showing the extra work, and we get the following. I got 5.13 divided by 1.994586 and change. Once again, realize I do not round. I don't round indiscriminately. I keep all values unrounded until the very end, and now I round to 2 decimal places, 2.57. Once again, 2 decimal places for Z. I'm going to show that's approximately, right? All right, so once again, I'm going to go and I'm going to plot this into our drawing up here. And this brings us 2.57, well, here's 1.96, so 2.57 is in the critical region, right? So Z is equal to 2.57, that's your test value. So it's in the critical region, and our decision then is to reject H naught. So we're going to reject H naught. So once again, step 4 is to make the decision. And our decision is reject H naught because it's telling us to do so. It's in the rejection region, or the critical region, right? It's in this area here. So now that we know we're going to reject H naught, we're going to make our final statement. What is it that we found in our research? So state conclusion, or final statement. So based on this information, I have the following. Our sample data indicates the population mean cost of a hotel room in Toronto is significantly different than $150.21. Once again, this is based on our H1, our alternative hypothesis. So I'm stating this based on this information here, and you can see that we do reject this statement, and that means we're going to accept this or not reject the alternative hypothesis, and this is more or less what we're stating as our conclusion, that the mean is not equal to $150.21 per night. So once again, we just follow those 5 steps. In this case, it turns out that we had to reject our null hypothesis and accept the alternative, or not reject the alternative. There is still a possibility that we got it wrong, and that is that 5% chance. But we're pretty sure that we got it right in this case. Once again, I'm going to pause this video and we'll try the next example.